in your life.
We're live. Good morning. Day 4, is that right? I can't remember. Yeah, day 4. All right, you're all adding to 1. So welcome. If it's your first time seeing Edge Academy doing a live demonstration, we came up with the idea of doing live demonstrations every single morning for 8 days straight. Don't know why I chose 8 a.m. California time, but I have done. We've obviously got little Tallulah in the background. We've got our daughter. She's a 3-year-old. So if you are new to to this, you might hear our daughter asking for mummy or daddy throughout the seminar or through the demonstration. It's obviously cutting along with us or watching a demonstration. We're at home. Like most of you are at home, and we're at home, and we just want to make sure that we wanted to do something a bit more creative for everybody this morning. So this morning we are going to do a shorter shape, a mid-length shape. We've done too long. We did a mid-length yesterday on a nice curly one. So we're doing our second mid-length shape, a little bit more of a choppier bob. All right, that's the easiest way to explain it, really. Very commercial, very salon friendly. It's going to be a choppy bob. That's what we're going to do. So we obviously, if you don't know me, my name's Anthony. I'm the creative director for Edge Academy. Been a hairdresser for 30 years. I'm out of San Diego. We have an academy here where we do advanced education as well as classics and also how to be an educator. And this year we were meant to launch a new course which is called Create Your Collection, which is hopefully we might be able to do one this year. We obviously bring out new collections every year. So me and Gloria, Gloria's behind the camera, what we wanted to do is bring all our collections really together. So we're taking inspiration from the past and showing you some of our work. We're the process of just finalising all our 2020 collection, which would be great to share with you all. But this haircut, what we're going to do is from our 2018 collection. So if I show that, and then if Gloria needs to see Tallulah or anything, I'm more than welcome just to show you the inspiration really behind the haircut this morning. All right, so this morning's haircut is from 2018. All right, this is a collection me and Gloria came up with back in that time. We went to a flea market, or I think it was called Swap Me, and it was like a market. And we were looking around, and I saw a book, and it was a yearbook, like a school yearbook. We don't have those really in England. But, it's a very American. And I just thought, wow, this is cool. And it had pictures of high schoolers sitting on a chair, just having their photograph taken. Very much like this kind of image. And I just thought, how cool would it be to do a collection like a yearbook? And that's how we came up with this. So if you've not seen all the collection, you can go on our website at edge74.com. All the collections are on there. You can see all the imagery and all our work, what we've done from the past to the present. And this haircut, we're very commercial, very salon friendly. Right. And I like this because it's like like a very choppy bob, very now. What we came up with like this kind of concept of class of 74. The lights in the way now. Okay. So I had it. All right, so then class of 74, and the idea was literally from 1970s. So the 1970s, we just loved that idea of like the clothing, the eras. There's so much going on in the 70s, from music, from celebrities, from iconic people. And from that 70s era, we took elements from like the punks, the mods, the rockers, the glam rock, different music scenes, and then different icons from that era. And then we went to like a second-hand shop or a vintage shop, got some 70s clothing. Gloria did all the amazing colours, so we had a lot of strong, bold colours within the collection. This girl went from dark hair, all right, then Gloria pre-lightened it, and then obviously you can see with the baby pink in there as well, so massive transformation. We had some really good before and afters of some of these looks. And then the collection we did, we shot them on straight on, and then on the side, and then also at the back as well. So we felt like a lot of people always say, what does the back look like? All right, so we shot all this collection of the back of the models as well. Personally, I felt like it was a really edgy kind of campaign by just looking at all the pictures of the back of the heads as well. So if you want to see closer all the collection, you want to see a lot more of that, you can go on our website at edge74.com. But this is the inspiration this morning. We're going to be doing this haircut. All right, so choppy bob, it's 3 sections, okay? So if anyone is got their mannequins out and you're cutting along with us this morning, because I know a lot of you posted and DM'd us yesterday saying what a fantastic time you've been having over the last few days with us at home, in the kitchen, in your living room, cutting along with us. So fantastic. It's nice to see that you're enjoying our mornings with us. So I'm going to give the phone back to Gloria. She can show you the hedge, what we're going to do. Thanks, darling. All right, so what we've done here then is just a pre-section to make it a little bit easier for everybody. All right, we've damped down our mannequin head, and then the first section I placed in really was a triangle section through the front. Okay, so just in front of the crown. All right, so just in front of the crown, we just literally worked a triangle section. You want me to see that anyway. So just a triangle section. So literally working in diagonal to the corner of the eyebrow, diagonal to the corner of the eyebrow, and placing a triangle. Again, how big, how small the triangle section is all down to your client's density of hair, their hairline. Do they want a thicker fringe? Do they want a fuller fringe? Do they want something a little bit more wispy? Okay, so again, all comes down to customization in a way. This haircut also, obviously it showed you the image, we had a fringe in there, but if you've got a client who says, I want a choppy bob, and I want it funky, and I want the bob, but I don't want a fringe, all right, then you just basically remove this triangle and don't add a fringe, simple as that, all right. So what you would do then, you would make it 2 sections instead of 3. So I've worked in first section, which is a fringe, and we're going to have a focal point as a fringe. And then behind the fringe, what we've done then, above the curve of the head, so if I put the comb flat on the head like so, right on that curve of the head, okay, so if you can see then, literally right on the curve of the head, I've just worked a horizontal line, but then dropping down into a V through the back. So if I can show you from a profile, yeah, so Gloria can see that probably a lot better. So you can see, look, it's horizontal, dropping down, okay, to below the crown, and then what will it be? It'd be literally working with a little V section through the back area. Okay, so literally working with a little V all the way through. Okay, so that's what the sectioning pattern is. So we've literally worked in a V section to the below the crown. It's not going to the occipital bone, and it's not going too much into a V. If you want to make it a little bit edgy, you could drop this down into more of a point, but then you would have a little tail. If your client's a little bit more arty, a little bit edgy, and you want to have a little tail within that shape, you're more than welcome to. All right. Personally, I want to keep it a little bit more salon friendly, so I didn't want to date it too much with that kind of thing. So it just goes into a slight V. Okay. So horizontal, dropping down below the crown into a slight V, and then, like we said before, we've isolated that little fringe panel. If you didn't want to have a fringe, take that triangle out, and then what you would do through the top here, then you would literally lay it all the top without a fringe. Okay, so we're going to crack on. We're going to start with the haircut. We're going to start on the sides with this haircut. Okay, so we're going to start on the sides. I'm going to introduce some, is it quite dark? Am I standing through?
Yeah, you're standing right in front of the light.
There you go.
There you
Blurry
go.
there, that's better. Sorry. Okay. We're at home in our study, so, you know, it's not the academy, it's not the salon. We're just literally just moving things around just to try and stay connected with everybody, really. Like we said before, a lot of our classes have been postponed. That's what we work on, is education all the time. So we just thought, how can we keep everybody a little bit motivated and inspired through this difficult time? So we just thought we'll come live every morning from San Diego. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to crack on with the haircut. I'm going to literally work parallel to the section. So I'm going to work with graduation first. I'm not going to cut the perimeter, I'm going to work internally first. Okay, it's a creative haircut. All right, so for me personally, if I was working this more of a foundation and I was working more classically, then I probably would work the outer edge first. Then I would work internally second. That's just my personal opinion, okay? So what I want to do here now is literally work internally. So about an inch, so you can see literally about an inch section, about as wide as that comb, okay? So you can see just literally working parallel, as wide as that comb, or maybe 2 fingers width, okay? Nice, good section. You're going to elevate this out from the head on the base at 90, okay, straight on the base at 90, okay. We're not going to elevate higher like so, all right. We're not going to elevate above the head shape. We're going to bring it straight on the base at 90. So this is a graduation, all right. We're going to create more shape through the sides and the back. I want to have a little bit more of a weight line through the shape. I want to have a little bit more of a shape around this curvature of the head. If I wanted to take out weight and I felt like it was too heavy, then my elevation here would literally go higher. And then this is introducing more of a layer, okay? So this would be layering the hair. So this technique would be called block layering, all right? Which is a technique which has been around from the 70s era. All right, hence why we used it, because it was in that kind of class of 74 collection. So instead of going too high with the elevation, we're going to drop it. Our fingers are going to be parallel to the parting. So my fingers are parallel to the parting around the head. How short do I take it? I'm going to use the guide as like, I want to go roughly around about a bob. So around about here, I'm judging the length to be. So I'm going to grab the hair, I'm going to lift that up, and I'm going to see how much I can cut off. All right, so I'm going to elevate that straight out, and then I'm going to literally point cut for choppy, because I said before, this is a choppy bob, okay? So it's a choppy bob. Okay, I'm working through the finer teeth of the comb, just to give me a little bit more tension through there as well. All right, so I'm just literally point cutting through, parallel to the section. Before I continue, yeah, I'm just going to keep that in my hands, and I'm just going to grab the hair at the bottom, and I'm going to elevate that up and see how much is coming off that perimeter. I can cut a bit more off, okay? It's always good to just check. Like I said over the last few days, I can always cut more off, but I can't stick more on, okay? And as a hairdresser, I don't get paid for cutting hair off, I get paid for leaving hair on. Okay, so elevating the hair straight out on the base at 90. Okay, then what I want to do now, I'm just going to go around the curvature of the head now. So continuing, working parallel to the section. So everyone has different terminology from wherever you've been trained, but this could be T to the parting, perpendicular, parallel. Okay, so you're moving around the head shape. Okay, so as you can see, my body is moving around the head. I don't stay in one particular place. So I'm moving around, okay, and I'm just doing that one section all the way around. Okay, I'm happy with that. I've just literally worked one section all the way around. Before I go through now and literally go through to the underneath, I'm going to literally now go through the opposite side. So I'm going to go through the opposite side, and I'm going to literally establish the guideline on this side. So I'm going to work parallel to the parting, drop that down, like I said, about as wide as the comb. We're going to elevate this out on the base.
Amy says it's the one layer.
Yeah, the one layer, the famous haircut, just one layer. Well done, Amy. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we haven't got a guideline, and why I've done this is because I find it's easier to get both sides absolutely perfect. Okay, I think that's the best way. Okay, so instead of just literally going through and doing all one side, let's establish this guideline all the way round. So we haven't got a guide here now, so what I would suggest to do is grab a bit of hair from the previous side, grab a piece of hair from this side, bring it to the middle, like so, and then have a little cheeky snip. Okay? Right? And then bring it together, and then just check your balance. Okay, there you go. You've got like a nice little guide now. So then you're working straight out on the base, exactly the same as what you've just established through the opposite side. And then point cut through. Sorry, my terrible angle for Gloria. I apologise. I could feel that. Alright. And then just literally just point cutting through. Okay, everything out on the base. Okay, so it's 90 on that base. And like Amy said, that famous one layer. Alright. And then working all the way down now. And what you'll come to the opposite side guideline. So there's a guideline here. Alright, so literally you're matching it up now. You're going from this length and you're working all the way to the opposite side, to the other left, to the guide. Okay, so bringing that out. See your guideline. Okay. Right, so let's go back to the front. We'll check the balance. Okay, you want to check that balance. You want to make sure that you're happy with the shape. Okay, if you're a little bit scared of checking the balance, especially in a mirror in front of a client like this, yeah, then the best thing to do is just pull it straight out on the base like that and then bring it to you. And then bring it straight on the base and then bring it to you. Yeah, because the only person who sees any mistake is you. Alright? You don't have to show the client what you've done. Alright? So then if you're confident with what you've done, you lift it up, show the client. Lift it up, and then the client can see this. And you're just making sure that you've got the same balance throughout. Cool. Right, so happy with that.
Her head's not totally straight.
Okay, sorry.
There you go.
There we go. Hopefully my balance was straight.
That's why it wasn't at first, and now, but you fixed it. Okay. So it's good.
Thank you, Gloria. Right. Okay. So establish that. So just to recap, we just literally work parallel to the section on the base 90, and you've just literally gone parallel and parallel. Everything straight out on one section. All the way through, and then you've done exactly the same on the opposite side, everything on that base. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to work on a travelling guideline. Well, that means now we're going to over direct all that hair up to that guide. Alright, so this is a technique called block graduation, because you're cutting it in a block format. Okay, so what you do is literally work through the sides again. If you've got finer hair or finer density and you can see the guideline, you can lift all this up. And if you can see the guideline, that's perfect. It's worked as a block. If you find I can't see that guideline, that's maybe too big, that section, then you could literally subdivide. Yeah, and just subdivide it and then lift it up. So look, the trick is here is to comb from underneath. Yeah, comb from underneath. Why? Because this is travelling up. If you find it quite difficult to comb from underneath, and your elevation is not it's not over directing as much. Another little trick is to stand on the opposite side and bring the hair towards you. What that means is maybe stand on the opposite side of your client and then over direct this way. Personally, I don't like to lean over my clients like this, all right? But if you feel like it's a lot easier to control and maintain that length, you can over direct, so you're combing from underneath and you're bringing everything to that stationary guide, okay? That's another little trick if you prefer to do that, all right? I prefer to stand in front, okay? And then just combing from underneath. My finger is parallel to the section. Okay, I'm bringing everything to that stationary guideline. Okay, so everything is coming to that one section. And then literally just point cutting through. Okay. Just going to create a nice little shape around the curve of the head. So we're just combing that from underneath. And then you drop that down. And then you'll be able to see you've got the perimeter taken away. So if you look on both sides now, you can see when you're cutting the graduation, you're also cutting the perimeter at the same time. All right, so you can see now, create a lovely shape. It's wet, there's no product in the hair, and then all of a sudden you've got a nice little shape coming through. Okay, so now we're going to continue working through that back area. There's a lot more hair through the back, because obviously, you know, the hairline goes behind the ear, there's a lot more hair. So I couldn't get away with taking that in maybe two sections, so I might have to do 3 or 4, depending on the density of the hair. Okay, so this haircut is ideal for any hair type. So let's go into, like, you know, who's it ideal for? You know, like yesterday we did a haircut and it was really ideal for anybody with wavy to curly hair. This one's ideal for anybody. So if you've got a client with fine to thick hair, straight to curly, yeah, this is a good all-rounder, okay? So where this would be good is, like, if you've got a client who's had a bob and she's just bored with the bob, she just wants to make it a bit funkier, then you could just introduce something like this kind of technique. Okay, it's a little bit choppier, a little bit funkier, very commercial, very salon friendly. Okay, and then we're just literally over directing now all the rest of the hair to that guide. So just subdividing into like 3 sections, because I just can't get away with it all in one go. Sometimes you take a big section, if you can't see the guideline, sometimes it's even creating more problems than it's worth. So it's better just to take your time and make sure that you understand the shape, what you're achieving. You can see that guide nice and clear. Just point cutting through. Okay. If you're working on like a finer texture, you know, you get away with the point cutting, and you could even just blunt cut this. You know, keep it all nice and clean. Okay. And the last section, you're just over directing all that up. So everything is coming up to that one guideline. So just if you're just joining in, okay, we're working on a haircut called the Christine. It was called the Christine, and it was from a collection called the Class of '74, which was in 2018, one of our collections, and we're literally working with like a choppy bob. Okay, really choppy commercial bob shape, introducing graduation and some layering, and then also a fringe. So there's 3 key elements to this haircut. There's what we're doing now is the sides and the back. Then there's going to be the top, and then the fringe. Okay, so what I love about it, it's just simplicity. It's 3 elements. First one is obviously is what we're working on. We're working on our first section, and then the second one, and then the third. So it's not like loads and loads of sections. It's just 3 sections. Very easy to work behind the chair with this haircut. Okay, so we've finished that. All right, so you can comb that down, and then all of a sudden you've literally worked in a nice little graduation there, a little block graduation. So on the base, and then everything traveling up to that guideline. Okay, so I'm going to stand on the opposite side and I'm going to work this side now. Okay, so we're going to comb from underneath again. Okay, see that guideline pretty clear on this side. Alright, bring it all up, probably turn around for Gloria's angle so you can see where we're going. Keep your head still, darling. Okay, you can see there. Okay.
Are you using the 7s today?
Yeah, so for some of you watching, you might feel like, wow, it looks like a gardener. Alright, but these are the 7-inch scissors from Edge. We make our own scissors. We designed them and obviously played around with different shapes and different steels and different manufacturers, and we love these ones. So we made our 6.25 and then about 6 months later we launched a 7-inch. So we have 2 sizes within our scissors, and personally my favourite are the 7s. You know, I still like the 6.25s. I use them for like sometimes shorter and more detailed work, but I really love the 7s. They're one of my favourites. Okay. Right, and then we're literally working through the back area now, and we're just over directing all that hair up to that stationary guide. So making sure that you're bringing everything up to that first section. Okay, so yeah, if you don't know much about ours, you know, obviously we bring out our education, different classes every single year, different classes we have. We have a new collection every year, new shapes, new concepts of our collection. And then we have tools. We have 2 scissors and we have this comb. So the comb I'm using, the orange comb, is also an orange edge comb. We designed this because I just find when you're doing dark hair in a black comb, you don't see anything. If you're doing scissor over comb, or if you're doing any kind of short hair through a comb, it's kind of, you can't see it. So I wanted to do something that stands out. My favourite football team back home in England is orange, so that's why we did. That's why I did it. It's my home colours. So my home colours, if you didn't know, Blackpool, where I'm from in England, the football team play in orange, and it's my home colours. So that's why I designed an orange comb. We have inches on the side, so it's great for, like, you know, if you're checking the balance and stuff like that. So large cutting comb, so it's really good. It's very, very popular. A lot of hairdressers backstage at fashion weeks around the world use it. It's been used on a lot of photo shoots in magazines and collections. A lot of Insta famous people use it and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a good old comb. All right, so bringing everything up. If you want to cross-check this and you felt like, you know, I'm standing here and I'm just pulling everything up and I want to make sure it's perfect, you could literally lean over. Okay, what that means, you could literally stand over your client now and just check it. So what that means, you could literally over direct and then check it this way if you wanted to, and just make sure that you're absolutely perfect. Okay, so you're just pulling everything up. It might be a little bit easier just to check that, just to make sure if there's any little tiny bits. So you're just traveling all the way up. Okay, and then lean over your client again. Okay, so all up to that guide. Okay, so if you've never used this technique before, or you have and you didn't know what it was called, it's called block graduation, because you're cutting it in a block format. So you've literally got the first one section as your guideline, and the rest of the hair is traveling up to it, so it's like a block, so that you can cut it all in a block. Okay, if I went higher with the elevation, then it would be called a block, a block block layering. All right, so it would be more of a layer than a graduation. All right, so if you comb that down now, you can see it's shorter through the back, front, and longer through the back. So, you know, in a way, it's probably what's happening at the moment. You're seeing a little bit of the mullety shape, or a little bit of the shag coming through. All right, in some cases, some of you might look at that and go, I kind of like it. All right, so it's honestly up to you. In this case, what we're going to do, we're going to use that front perimeter as a guide, and we're literally going to work in a nice little choppy bob now. Okay, so I'm going to literally comb it down. So I'm going to put the head over to one side. I'm going to comb it down through the sides, and I'm going to cut it all in one go. Why? Because it's shorter internally. All right, so for anybody who's a younger hairdresser out there, this is a creative haircut because we're working internally first and then we're doing the perimeter second. Yeah, if I was teaching this at a college or a cosmetology school, then I probably would have done the outline first and then use that outline for my guideline for the graduation. But what I'm trying to say, this is, once you are more established and you're doing haircuts behind the chair and you're doing maybe a 30-minute haircut, 45-minute haircut, yeah, then I want to be quick. All right, how do I get quicker and more confident behind the chair? Is understanding the technique. So if I graduate first, take all the weight out, yeah, then all that then is shorter internally. But by the time this drops down, it doesn't reach, so I can get away with cutting the outline in one section. Yeah, because if I go section by section by section cutting the perimeter, you don't realise, well, this bit of hair again, I'm cutting it again twice. All right.
Can you push that closer to over there, to the bookshelf? Okay, yeah, that's better.
Okay, so just comb it down to natural form. Okay, so just bringing it down. So just combing it all down to its natural form. Through the fingers, so we're getting a little bit of graduation, nice and choppy. On another scenario, you might need to pat over the ear, yeah, depends on if you've got a little bit of elevation there. But when it kind of choppy through that perimeter, okay, and combing down.
For those who are just joining us, so this is a choppy bob in case you guys think it's a mullet. And why we're cutting the back off.
Oh, right, so somebody says, wow, I love it.
Yeah, loving the mullet.
Right, okay, sorry guys, it's not going to be a mullet. Okay, so literally just working that nice and choppy. And exactly the same on the opposite side, combing down to its natural form. Bringing that down. So you've got a nice choppy shape. Okay, so just making sure we're absolutely perfect before we continue through. Also, this is kind of nice, like if you wanted to, you could blow dry all this underneath now and then start to detail. If you're working on like a thicker density of hair, you don't realise, but this underneath could be like a little undercut. Undercutting was like, you know, a lot of people always think undercutting has to be shaved and really short underneath. But this is short, as you can see. Look, if I elevate that out, that's short, yeah? That's long, so we've over-directed up, yeah? So what's happening then, this top section will fall over it. So I could literally blow dry all this now. You could blow dry this, get it a bit smoother, and then you could go in and detail wherever necessary, if you needed to. So I'm just going to check the perimeter, the balance.
Joseph Anthony asked, why is the mohawk section set so far back?
The mohawk section set so far back. We have a fringe in there. Okay, so there's a triangle section in here for a fringe. And then what we've done then is we're literally working all the way down into a V. Yeah. Are you asking why it's in a V? Or is he asking about the fringe? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out from Joseph a little bit in a minute. Okay, right. So what we're going to do now, if you wanted to, if you're working on a thicker density, what you could do, you could go through the graduation here, and you could literally just break this up even more. Yeah, if you wanted to break that up internally. All right. So the first section, you could go in there and just literally just slice through if necessary, just breaking that up even more. I don't want to go through the perimeter and break it up too much. I don't want to make all this wispy through the bottom. I just want to...
So they asked, why is the V?
Why the V? Okay, good question. We just wanted to make it, to go into something, in a way, I wanted it to blend in the disconnection more. So if I worked on like a curving section, like a horseshoe, I'd say like it went just all the way around the head. Yeah, I just felt like it was just going to be sitting a bit solid. I wanted a little bit of detail through that back area. So instead of literally going all the way round and being a circle, yeah, and then it just drops down, I wanted to have a little bit of detail just through that back area. So we just dropped it down into a V just to give a little bit more length through there. All right, that's the reason why, really. You know, you could, if you wanted to, work a horseshoe, but the only trouble is, if I worked a horseshoe, I'm going 2 inches higher, yeah, and 2 inches higher and taking this area shorter, yeah, when there's a lot of movement here, somebody could have a double crown, they could have a whirl, yeah, this could sit and it could poke straight out. So I knew I was going to work on a graduation through here, so I thought if I drop this graduation below the crown and below the movement, then I could even take this even more aggressive and more stronger. So what that means, if you wanted to go even stronger, more edgier than this, you could take this graduation 2 inches even shorter.
And even for really like someone with a, you know, like flatter back of the head, that could help create more of a head shape too.
Yep. All right, so really dropping it down, just to answer that really, just to drop that down, just because of movement around the crown, I didn't want to make that ping straight out. Okay, so good question, thank you so much. All right, so then you can see like the nice little shape coming. If I break that up a little bit, you can see that texture coming nice and choppy. Nice. Looks good. Again, personal choice if you want to go in and personalize and do some deep point cutting, channel cutting, some slicing. These are all customizing techniques. What you see and what I see are a little bit different. Even the perimeter, I personally like the perimeter a little bit solid like that. It's a bit choppy, but some of you might want to go in and just break that up even more. Okay, you could break that up even more, move that around, see how it looks. Okay, so again, personal choice. Make sure your client, not somebody else's. Okay, next section now, we're going to go in the fringe. Okay, so fringe. All right, so we comb that down to its natural fall. Okay, so we bring that down. We have a little fringe in here. If you've just joined us, I said, look, obviously the image what we're showing you, is it on there? I'll get that moving in a minute. But the image we're going to show you in a minute is from our class of 74, and it's one of our haircuts from 2018. And this, if you're just joining us, this is the haircut we're taking inspiration from. Okay, amazing little haircut, nice and choppy, exactly the same sectioning pattern, exactly the same technique we're doing. Okay, so introducing a block graduation through the sides and the back. Then we've got a fringe now we're focusing on, and then we're going to work in some layers through the top. Okay, so say for example the client said, I love the image, but I just don't want a fringe. Can I have a longer fringe? Can I have something a bit longer? Can I make it a bit more commercial? All right, and it's nice to hear that, because I'm a big believer of like, yes, I can do a haircut, but what do I do 6 weeks later? What do I do 8 weeks later? How can I grow this out, or how can I take this shorter? I think those are the nice challenges as a hairdresser, especially being a cutter, is like, where can I take this haircut and where can we grow it to, or where can we cut it shorter to? So in this case, if the client said, I don't want a fringe, then you just take out this clip at the back and you just literally layer through the top. Yeah, and what you could do the layer shorter at the crown, and you could start to over direct travel, so then all of a sudden you've got a longer fringe. All right, so you don't have to have that as a focal point, but we did. All right, so what did we do with the fringe? Me and Gloria came up with something a little bit different. We didn't want to do an asymmetric. We did that yesterday. So we did see the haircut yesterday. We did an asymmetric fringe yesterday, and then the day before we did some face framing. And then the day before that, we did a strong fringe. This is the mannequin from the first ever haircut. So we did a really strong, wide fringe. So today's fringe, what we wanted to do is it's a little bit carving out, okay? So instead of being through your fingers or through the comb, it's literally very visual, okay? It's a little bit dry, which is luckily it is. Personally, I prefer it if this was all dry, all right? I'll be honest. All right, so if you are going to do this on a real client, I'd probably get your comb and dry this. Do it left, right, down, down, down. Get all that nice and dry, yeah? And then once that's dry, what you're going to do then, you're going to do like channel cutting. I don't know if any of you have tried channel cutting, but you literally put your blade in straight into the hair like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to bend the scissor like so it makes like a letter J. So think of the alphabet like J, all right? So what you do, you're going to go down like an I, and then you turn it, and then you could literally go into the J, and you cut on the J. So literally, this is like carving out the fringe. Carving out that fringe, okay? And you're doing just J, 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 okay? And then if you feel like, oh, that looks a bit nerve-wracking, I'm not sure if I want to try and do that, yeah? Then another way you could do it, you could pick it off the face, go down, and then just carve it like that as well. You could just bring it down and just cut it like so. Okay, and you just elevate away like that. So there's different ways of obviously making a choppy fringe, because the whole haircut, like we said before, is a choppy bob. So we also want the fringe to be choppy. I don't want it to be solid. I don't want anything to be like really solid and then really choppy. I want the whole concept to be the same. Okay, so we took it really randomly. Okay. So you can see there, nice and choppy. All right, and then again, it's just personal, up to you. If you want to layer it, if they've got a client who's got a lot of hair, then you would literally go in and you could literally layer this if you wanted to make it softer. I like it where it's heavy. The whole point was to do the fringe in front of the crown, to the corner of the eyebrow. It's a really heavy focal point. I want the fringe to be a focal point. I want it to be like, when you see the client, you're like, oh yeah, I love your length. And then, wow, your fringe, okay? I don't want it to be like, oh, it's just wispy and it's just there, all right? So, nice and random, really choppy, all the way through. Okay, pretty happy with that. All right, now we go on to our last part of the haircut, okay, which is the layers, all right? So we're gonna layer this all the way through. Okay, so last part of the haircut. Okay, we're gonna work with a concaved layer. Okay, so because we want to create a little bit more of an overhang here. Okay, so like I said earlier, I wanted to create this kind of like a bit of a disconnection, all right, but a little bit of an like an undercut feeling. So what I want to do, I want to maintain some more length on the sides. So how do I do that? So there's lots of ways you could layer the top. I'll be honest, guys. If I could literally work it all square, what would that do? Creates corners. What does corners do? It gives me width. So if you've got a lady with narrow features, then maybe working something like a square layer through here would be pretty nice, because you're going to give a little bit more width to the shape. If you've got a client who's got a lot of hair, instead of working square, you could knock off the corner and work it more of a rounded shape. A bit softer, a little bit more commercial, okay? In this case, what we're going to do, we're going to pull everything into the middle, okay? So I'm going to literally work a centre section right through the middle, okay, about as wide as the comb, all the way through. I'm going to go on a profile so you can see better there. Okay, literally working all the way through the middle. I'm not using the fringe as a guide, it's way too short. All right, I'm not going to connect it. All right, so literally bringing that up on the base. Right, and because it's not going to affect, this is not going to affect the perimeter or anything. So how short you go on this top section is honest up to you guys. Okay, personally I won't go too short, because if you are cutting along with me over the next few days, I don't want you to cut all this off and then you're like, I can't do the next haircut or so. All right, so what I suggest to do is to leave it a little bit longer, because then you've got a bit more fun on your mannequins, because I know there's quite a few people who are watching today who are actually cutting along with us. They grab the mannequin and they're cutting along with us. All right, so in a real scenario, you would ask the client, what do you love about your hair? What don't you love about your hair? And what products are you using at the moment? They're the 3 questions I always ask, and you've heard that maybe over the last few days. So what do you love about your hair? Not a lot really. I want it to change. What do you want to change about it? I want to bring the length up. All right, I want to introduce my fringe again. Okay, I want to put my fringe back in. I want to cut the length off. Do you want volume in your hair, or do you like it a bit flatter? I like volume. I like big hair. I like messy hair. I like it where I can put my hands in there and it's going to give me a bit of volume. So I'm going to introduce some layers then, because what does layering do? It's going to create a bit more volume. The shorter your layers, the more volume you're going to create. All right, so you've got to make sure if you're doing it in the right, you've listened to the right consultation on the client. She likes to have this a bit more flatter, and she likes that kind of more of a California wave, where it's a little bit flatter and she can put like a little a wave in there, then leave it a bit longer. Okay.
Is this the middle section or side?
Middle, right through the middle. Okay. Because of the fringe being just as a focal point straight, then it's going through the middle. If you were going to work this from a natural parting, then your fringe could be, you could have literally worked an asymmetric fringe, and then you could have worked this back area on a natural parting as well. Okay, so think about that. That's another part. That's basically ideas of this haircut, but taking it to a different level, and that's a good idea. Okay. So yeah, you could work an asymmetric fringe and then work this, instead of being in the middle, you could literally work it on a natural parting, and then everything's going to be a little bit offset. That's kind of nice. All right, so literally working on the base, point cutting through. Okay, I'm following the head shape. Okay, just going to follow the head shape. Just going to knock off that corner at the back. All right, so knock off that corner of weight. Okay, so I want it to be rounded. Okay, so rounded from the back. So 90, 90, and 90. Okay, and then what you'll see when I come especially to this back bit there, you'll see the disconnection. So like if I hold that there and then pull that underneath, you can see there's an overhang. Okay, don't connect it. All right. It's ever so slightly disconnected as well. It's not like 10 years ago where it was like, wow, I feel like I've got 15 haircuts going on. All right, this is just ever so slightly. So the disconnection should be about 2 inches. Okay, just slightly. And then what we're gonna do now, we're gonna over direct everything into the middle. Okay, so pretty simple. Just pulling everything into the middle now. So I'm standing on the opposite side. Okay, and I'm pulling all the hair into the middle. And then I grab that rest of the hair. Because the underneath is shorter, you don't need to clip this out the way. So if some of you are looking at it and go, oh, that looks messy, don't worry if you grab any of this hair. Yeah, all right, if you grab it, because then what will happen, if it falls down, it falls down. That's what I'm trying to say. Because, like if you look at it, if you've got your horseshoe and you want to clip it out the way, you're more than welcome to. But if I grab this hair now, you'll be able to see it doesn't reach, like some of that bottom area doesn't reach. Okay, so look, if I pull all this up.
Amy says, what's the difference between a commercial haircut and an edgy haircut?
Amy knows this because she's been on our classes, but for me, the difference between an edgy haircut and a commercial haircut is usually 2 inches. All right, so 2 inches shorter. Take this, take that fringe 2 inches shorter. Take the perimeter 2 inches shorter. Wow, it's looking a bit edgy. Yeah, If you want to leave it a little bit more commercial, then leave it 2 inches longer. Okay. Okay, so just pull in. Hold that there. Alright, and then you just drop that down, and then you'll be able to see that nice little shape coming through. So I'll just do exactly the same on the opposite side. So you change your body positioning.
She's wobbly today.
She's wobbling today. Okay. And then we just pull everything in to the, into the middle. And then like, see all that like overhang there. If you feel like instead of picking it all up and trying to get a horseshoe in there or like your section, you just pull it all up. And then whatever just drops, if it just drops, look, it's not going to reach. You can see that it's not going to reach. So just bring all that up. And then just point cut through. Everything to the middle. Making sure, just checking through. I'm just literally just going to comb all that hair up. Just want to make sure that we're 100% happy with everything. So everything's coming into the middle. Wow, she doesn't like keeping still today. It's her 4th haircut, she's getting a bit light over it. Give us a few more minutes, T. That's our little girl in the background. She's doing her preschool work already this morning. So I know some of you out there are parents and you know, we're all at home, and some of you obviously trying to entertain your children for the at home as well. I saw some pictures of some people cutting along with us yesterday with their children in the background, so that was good. It's a family affair, and exactly the same as us. We're at home here doing some hair cutting on a mannequin to pass the morning. I thought it'd be kind of nice to share, you know, the love of Edge to all you guys at this crazy time. It's so no doubt nerve-wracking, you know, some of you out there are salon owners and you know, we run our education as well from our salon, and so it is scary times. A lot of our classes have been postponed and the salon is closed, so yes, very nerve-wracking for all of us in the industry, but we'll stick together. And this is why we've come to do this. Just try and do as much as possible for everyone to not go too much insane and keep that creativity going.
The video stopped, it says.
Oh yeah? Go on.
Don't know, just keep going. Yeah, it's stronger together. Okay.
Still on?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, so just literally just going straight down. And then if there's anything hanging over, that's what I'm just doing now. It's just literally just going through the underneath just to see if anything fell over, depending on how long you left your layer. Okay. And basically, there you have nice, little, choppy, commercial, salon friendly bob.
I can see you with this haircut, Amy. She said she might do this to herself later.
Yeah, well, because you'll be a hairdresser, it's not like we don't want our clients doing that. But yeah, very simple, really nice. I know that Amy, you've had a fringe like this in the past. Okay. Okay, I think we're pretty much done. All right, I don't think there's much else to do there. So literally working with an idea from our 2018 collection, class of 74. So we'll just literally take you through a little choppy bob. Some of you obviously watching, you've been to our academy, you've done this haircut, I know you have. So some of you, it's kind of nice recap to go, oh yeah, I remember this haircut. And then some of you, it's brand new. All right, so, you know, blow drying it, you could literally use a brush, you could get volume to it, you could scrunch it, you could diffuse it, you could blow dry it smooth, very, very salon friendly. You could wear it left, right, forward. You want to make this fringe even stronger, you could do. I just feel like, you know, what could you do next time? I'm always a big believer of that. So you could take the layer shorter, you could take the fringe shorter, you could take the underneath even shorter. You, if you wanted to, you could work it more in an A-line, if you wanted to do that. More than, you know, things like that. You could even round it up at the front. So there's little things that you can change all the time. All right, but this is the kind of the shape what we created back in 2018. This is the haircut if you've just joined. All right, this is the haircut we did. All right, so it's called the Christine from class of 74. And it's 3 sections, okay, really, really simple. A triangle section through the front for the fringe, and then a V section, so it goes from the curvature of the head all the way down to below the crown as a V, and then we isolate the top out the way. We started on the sides, and we did a block graduation, so 90 from the head, over directed to maintain length, and we followed the curve of the head. All right, we did exactly the same on the opposite side. Check your balance through. Once you've done that, you tidy up the outline. So you cut your bob into the shape. Then we introduced the fringe. So our second section, we introduced the fringe. And we just carve that out. All right, so we can either pick the fringe up and carve it out. Or I did a technique called J, like carving out little J's. So it's like channel cutting, and then coming on the curve of the J and then cutting it. Bringing it down and then go on the curve and then cutting it. Okay? And that's how we did that. And then the final section was through the top. And the top is an inverted layer. So it's square and then taken off the corner. So it's just following the head shape of like a rounded shape. And then we pull everything into the middle. Why did we pull everything into the middle? So then we have a bit more of an overhang on the sides. So it's a little bit softer on those sides. So if you can see, like if I literally move the hair around, you'll be able to see there's a little disconnection in here. All right, so like if I shake that out a little bit, you'll be able to see there's a little disconnection through here.
It's great for clients who want like messiness, like when they want to like touch the hair and mess with it, and you know those.
But the disconnection is not crazy. So if some of you are like, oh, I'm a bit nervous, the disconnection is literally 2 inches. It's hardly anything. All right, and then if you felt like on certain clients you might need to just take a bit of weight out through that disconnection, you're more than welcome to. But going around the curve of the head, the disconnection, as you can see, is not that big. All right, so there's a little cheeky undercut there, and you can see there's a little overhang. But how we got the overhang is because we worked with the inverted layer. If you brought everything out on the base, then it would be more connected. All right, so like we said before, your layering is honestly up to you. If you wanted to work it more squarer, more rounder, or it works on an inversion, you can do something like that. All right, but that's our haircut for this morning. It's been lovely to touch base with you all again. This is our 4th haircut we've been doing, 4 days of cut along with Edge Academy at home, at our house. So we're here in California, and we're going to enjoy the rest of the day. Stay at home, watch lots of Netflix, I think, today, and stay safe. We will send all our love to you and all our friends and followers. I hope you've enjoyed the morning, and we will see